All right, students, let's go over the SpongeBob experiment questions. Wanted to get you through the answers just in case anyone needed some help. First thing you should always do is read the instructions, and the instructions say there are 3 SpongeBob experiments. Read each experiment and answer the questions that go with each experiment. Take your time. Well, let's get going. Experiment number 1, patty power. It says use this experiment description to answer the question. Mr. Krabs wants to make Bikini Bottoms a nicer place to live. He's created a new sauce that he thinks will reduce the production of body gas associated with eating Krabby Patties from the Krusty Krab. He recruits 100 customers with a history of gas problems. He has 50 of them, Group A, eat Krabby Patties with the new sauce. The other 50, Group B, eat Krabby Patties with the sauce that looks just like the new sauce, but is really just a mixture of mayonnaise and food coloring. Both groups were told that they were getting the sauce that would reduce gas production. 2 hours after eating the Krabby Patties, 30 customers in Group A reported having fewer gas problems, and 8 customers in Group B reported having fewer gas problems. Question is, which people are in the control group? Okay, remember that the control group is the group that is not exposed to our independent variable change. So it's like the group that is just kind of normal, regular, usual before we introduced our change. And if you look at groups A and B, 50 of them eat Krabby Patties with the new sauce. The other 50 eat Krabby Patties with a sauce that looks like the new sauce, but is really just a mixture of mayonnaise and food coloring. So if you think about it, Group A is getting our new special variable, and Group B is not, but they think they are. So Group B is going to be our control group, and Group A is going to be our experimental group. So going back down here, we're going to say the 50 customers in Group B as the control group. Question number 2, same scenario. I'm not going to read the whole thing again, but the question down here is, what is the independent variable? The independent variable is what I am introducing if I'm Mr. Krabs, because Mr. Krabs is doing the experiment. So what is the thing that Mr. Krabs is introducing? Initially and intentionally, it is right here. The new sauce that he thinks will reduce the body gas. So independent variable is going to be new sauce. Same scenario for question 3, different question. So I'm not going to read it again. It's a Mr. Krabs body gas experiment. What is the dependent variable? Remember that the dependent variable changes towards the end of the experiment, and it depends on the independent variable. So what is supposed to depend on the new sauce? What's the new sauce supposed to change at the end? It is the gas production or reported gas production from the people. Specifically, you got to look for what is being measured at the end in reference to what's changing. And the thing that's being measured is how many customers reported having fewer gas problems versus how many did not report fewer gas problems. So the best answer for that is going to be the number of people who reported fewer gas problems. All right, one more with this. Same scenario. Question is, what should Mr. Krabs' conclusion be? And what I mean by the parenthesis is that as long as you have your support with the data in the experiment, your answer's right. So there's more than one way that you could analyze this. But let's take a look at right here. 2 hours after eating the Krabby Patties, 30 customers in Group A reported having fewer gas problems, and 8 customers in Group B reported having fewer gas problems. Remember from the first question, Group A is our experimental group, and Group B is our control group. So Group A got the special sauce, Group B did not. So 30 customers with the special sauce out of 50 reported fewer gas problems. 8 customers that thought they had the special sauce but really didn't reported fewer gas problems. So that's a difference of 22 out of 50. That's almost half that reported fewer gas problems. So I would say my conclusion would be something like there's pretty solid evidence based on our experiment of 30 out of the 50, which is more than 50% reporting fewer gas problems, and only 8 in the control group reported fewer gas problems. That's a pretty significant difference. but I would want to definitely run the experiment again to make sure. Which brings me to the next question, question 5. Same description, or experiment description. New question is, why do you think 8 people in group B reported feeling better? I would suggest it was because the people in group B eat Krabby Patties with something that looks just like the new sauce. It's not, but it looks like it. So they thought they got the new sauce. And in science, that's called the placebo effect. When you give someone a pill or a medicine that really isn't the medicine, but they think it is, and they can think that they feel better when they really don't because the medicine doesn't do anything. That is a perfect example of the placebo effect, because they thought they got the special sauce that was going to reduce body gas when they really didn't. And so they just kind of like psychologically thought that they had less gas when they really didn't. All right, experiment 2. We'll read it through, and then there's a question. It says, SpongeBob notices that his pal Gary is suffering from slimatosis, which occurs when the shell develops a nasty slime and gives off a horrible odor. His friend Patrick tells him that rubbing seaweed on the shell is the perfect cure, while Sandy says that drinking Dr. Kelp will be a better cure. SpongeBob decides to test this cure by rubbing Gary with seaweed for 1 week and having him drink Dr. Kelp. After a week of treatment, the slime is gone and Gary's shell smells better. What's the initial observation? Remember, initial we use that with the independent variable. I initially and intentionally change. Initial is at first. So his initial observation is simply that Gary has slimatosis, or you could say that Gary has a nasty slime that's stinky on his shell. Same scenario for question 7, different question. What is the independent variable? Hint, there are 2. What are the 2 things that I am changing if I'm SpongeBob? Well, he tests this cure by rubbing Gary's shell with seaweed and having him drink Dr. Kelp. So you're going to click on this one because this has both of the treatments, seaweed treatment and drinking Dr. Kelp. Now, if you are with it here with this scientific investigation unit, you notice that that's a problem, having 2 independent variables. So keep that in the back of your mind. All right, same scenario. What is the dependent variable for question number 8? The dependent variable is are the 2 treatments supposed to change? Are they supposed to change drinking Dr. Kelp? Nope. Are they supposed to change the seaweed treatment? Nope. Are they supposed to change the 1 week? Nope. But are they supposed to change the amount of slime on Gary's shell? Yes, sir and ma'am. That looks like a winner. Number 9. Same scenario. Same scenario. 4th question. What is the problem with SpongeBob's experiment? Excuse me. Sorry about that. What is the problem with SpongeBob's experiment? Remember how we said he had 2 independent variables? It's a big problem because SpongeBob can't tell whether it was the seaweed or the Dr. Kelp that healed the slimatosis. You don't know which one worked. Or maybe it was both of them together, but we should have done things a little bit differently. And remember that your answers aren't going to be in the same order as mine. So just be careful when you're clicking. All right. So if I were SpongeBob, I would have not done both of them at once. I would have done one test with just the Dr. Kelp and one test with just the seaweed, not both at the same time. Or like put one on each side of his shell and see which one works better. All right, question number 10 is the 3rd experiment, and then you have a couple questions with it. It says, Larry was told that a certain muscle cream was the newest best thing on the market and claims to double a person's muscle power when used as part of a muscle building workout. Interested in this product, he buys the special muscle cream and recruits Patrick and SpongeBob to help him with this experiment. Larry develops a special marshmallow weightlifting program for Patrick and SpongeBob. He meets them once every week for a period of 2 weeks and keeps track of how many times each of them can lift a heavy weight. Before each session, Patrick's arms and back are lathered in the muscle cream, while SpongeBob's arms and back are lathered with regular lotion. This is going to be a key word, regular. Hey, So, which person is the control group? It's the person that doesn't get the new thing that we're testing. And we are testing the new muscle cream that was reported to be the best thing on the market. Who got the new muscle cream? Okay, before each session, Patrick's arms and back are lathered in the muscle cream, while SpongeBob's arms and back are lathered with regular lotion. So who got the special cream? Mr. Patrick. So that means Patrick is the experimental group. And then what SpongeBob is the group that doesn't get the special new factor. And remember, the keywords are normal, usual, regular. Look at that, regular. That means SpongeBob is our control group. And if it asks for who's the experimental group, you'd say Patrick. All right, same scenario. What's the dependent variable? What's supposed to be measured at the end? He meets them once every day for a period of 2 weeks and keeps track of how many times each of them can lift a heavy weight. That sounds like something that's being measured at the end, doesn't it? That's, in fact, our dependent variable. So let's read through here. No. Oh, there it is. The number of times they could lift the heavy weight. Same scenario for question 12. Different question. What is the independent variable? What's supposed to change the number of times that they can lift the heavy weight? And that one is the certain muscle cream, the new muscle cream. So not the regular lotion. That's the dependent variable, the number of times they can lift the heavy weight. So that's not it. It's got to be the new muscle cream. One more. If the results, same scenario, question 13. If the results of this experiment were inconclusive, that means they didn't tell us for sure whether the new muscle cream worked. How would you improve the experiment if you were to conduct it again? Well, one thing I can think of is maybe switch the groups, make Patrick the control group that gets the regular lotion and make SpongeBob the experimental group that gets the new special cream, and then test it again. Would be a good way to do it. And that's it. Go ahead and move on to the new module.